Okay, here we go. I'm going to, I've shared my screen. You should all give me a thumbs up. Let me know you can see it says IFW Retirement Roadmap and you can see it. Excellent. Okay, good, 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 good. All right. For anybody who likes trivia, that's the Superdome behind Bob Butte, if I'm correct. So yeah, I know my stadiums. All right. So let me see if I got it. Very good. All right. I'm going to do this and do that. These coming in. I want to make sure everybody gets in here. All right. This is familiar to you. I want to make sure you understand a couple of things. I know I've gone over many things, but it's important to me to go over a few changes again. Number one, when you add an account, you have the ability to do on no matter what you add, whether it's non-qualified, pre-tax, or tax-free, it'll have something called other. And other is a free form. So let's say it's the sale of a house. You can actually call it sale of house. And there it is. You're all good to go. And therefore, as you put in whatever it may be, instead of wondering what that other is, you'll be able to know exactly what it is. Same thing for an income. I apologize, there's other. So if it's a rental income, Florida property, did I spell it right? Looks like I power. There you go. I was close. You can put it like that. My point being is that you have the ability to define anything and everything in incomes as well as um, savings and contributions or the assets. Now, one thing that's coming on goals, and remember, goals is spending. I'm sure I've said that so many times. You're all like, Scott, we know enough already. Goals is spending. We are working on where you can do a free form in goals. So instead of just saying monthly 6,000, there'll be something there in which you could say paycheck, and another one that says playcheck or traveling or whatever it is. We are working on that. That is coming. Something else we are working on, and I've said this before, it takes a while. I was going to almost said it takes a village. It does, I guess, but it takes a while to do is taxes. We are working on giving you control of taxes. And what I mean by that is, and I've said this before, you've all heard me, would it not be cool to be able to say in 2026, revert back to 2017? Would it not be cool instead of saying, hey, if taxes go up, it'll probably be whatever? Well, how about being able to show people what would happen if taxes actually went up? Shh, don't tell anyone. That's coming. Is it coming soon? Not soon enough, but we are working on it. It is very, very difficult, a lot more intense than I realized. Something else, um, Something else that's also coming is I just had it and I can't believe oh yes, where you'll be able to copy cases. You can delete them. We can't copy them yet. So you could do a case on XYZ person. Todd, wouldn't it be cool? You can do a case and then copy that case and do it differently and copy it again and do it another way. Right, Jason? Yeah. Two thumbs up from Jason. You don't know how big that is. That one is also coming, but I could tell you, everybody, Jason, yeah, I've been involved in the development part. That's why I've got the gray hair. And this is the best the jokes get, by the way. This is, it's true that there is a lot that goes into it, but we are very important. Nancy, goals are important, but many and more on income inflation and the credit card debt growth. True enough. All right. Now, what I want to spend a little time talking about is plan automation. This is our AI. And I'm a Battlestar Galactica fan, so that dates me. To me, the Cylons are coming. What can I tell you? But I want to go through what it is, how it works, and how you can use it. Yes, I've done it in training, but I felt it was important enough for all of you to see it today and start to use it. All right. First thing that happens when you hit AI, I mean, let's face it, maybe you already know you want to do a volatility buffer or a GIA. Great, you can do that. But let's say I'm not really sure what I want to do. First thing, you can hit next, and here's what it comes up with. Remember, you have three choices. Choice number one is stability, or rather, income. You could say, hey, look, this person needs income. So that's what I want to do. Or you can choose accumulation and say, no, 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 this person doesn't need income. They need a volatility buffer. Therefore, they need accumulation. Or maybe the best of both worlds. They need income and a volatility buffer. So I'm going to hit balance. Now, before I hit balance, I'm going to show you something. Down here on all of it, either one of them, it's asking you specifically, okay, it's asking you specifically, oh goodness, people still coming in, everybody, how much of a percentage do you want to go into annuities? I love that. Why? I'm sure you've heard of this thing called suitability, maybe, you know, and insurance companies are like, hey, over 50 or 60. Some insurance companies might go 60. I don't know if too many go higher than that, but you might be like, you know what? I want to keep it to a certain amount. So I know within suitability. So I've got 55% here, which means whatever it does, it's going to take a look at the total amount in savings and investments. And whatever it does, it's not going to go over 55%. So you're going to be within suitability. Now, the last one is balanced. Balance says, hey, I need a little bit of both. Now, the question is, first question is, well, how much of income and how much of accumulation?
Sure.
I'm sorry, Daniel, do you have a question?
No.
Well, fine. No worries, Daniel. It's good to have you here. Anyway, so I'm going to say, look, you need some income, but not necessarily a lot. So I'm going to say 25, whatever we do, 25% for income, 75% for accumulation of the volatility buffer. And do me a favor, keep no more than 55%, give or take, into annuities. I'm going to click run. Okay. Okay, again, I'm going to click and go into future adjustments. Presto changeo. Now it's done it for me. So let's take a look at this. First thing it's done is it said we're going to do a level guaranteed income annuity using your TSP, and we're going to take $165,000 from your TSP to do it. But you need a volatility buffer. In fact, the next two are volatility buffers. It's saying we're going to take 335,000, the remainder of the TSP, into the volatility buffer, but we're also going to take 160,000 from the 600 for a volatility buffer as well. I also want to point out that here are the defaults. It defaults on the volatility buffer using a par rate of 75%. You use what you feel is appropriate. Remember, you can use a participation rate or a cap rate. On the level benefit, it shows a 5-year deferral. You can change that. Here are all the parameters you can put in. So you can always change it to what you feel is important or what would work for you. And spoiler alert, you don't have to agree with it. The heck am I talking about? Scott, this isn't a courtroom. Again, this is the best my jokes get. But in all seriousness, you could say, you know what? I agree with that 165. I agree with doing 500 in the volatility buffer, but I don't want to take the other 335 from the TSP. I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to do all 500,000 from the joint account. Right? So just because the AI says, here, do it this way, Mike, did you have a question? No worries. Maybe he's just waving in excitement. You can make the change that you feel would make more sense for you, or you'd feel more comfortable with you and the client. And then, of course, what you can do down here is you could say, all right, I'm going to take the rest of that TSP. Now remember, you choose all or fixed. You can't choose all of it. Why? Because you got 165,000 up here. I'm going to choose fixed. I'm going to do it over 6 years. I'm going to take 45,000 a year. You do it as you see fit. Don't forget, you want to remember, you want to save things as they happen. Okay. All righty. So, okay. People still coming in. I love it. We're getting close, everybody. We're like at 102. All right. Any questions so far, by the way? Mike, you're on. If I remember, you're probably muted, so come off mute.
You're at 103.
Where does how do we know the accuracy of what the AI is recommending? Where is that coming from?
I'm not sure. Could you explain what, just so I know what you mean? Can you explain what you mean by the accuracy? I think I know, but I want to make sure.
Okay, when you're using the AI, it's making recommendations for the allocation. Where is it drawing its information from to make those recommendations?
From the information that you have here, it's saying they have 1.2 mil. What is it? 1.2 million dollars. So I know what is fit, whatever 55% of that is, it's got to keep it to 55%. So of 1.2 million, half of it is 600. What's roughly 660,000 is 55%. So you'll notice down here, it's add the two of them together, it's $665,000. It's also saying that, hey, based on what you're saying, you want guaranteed income of everything that we're doing, of the 665, 25% of it is in the guaranteed income annuity. Remember where I showed you 25 to 75? So that's where it's doing it, but it's pulling from these numbers up here. So that's how you know the accuracy. It's
Thank
using the client's information or your information or the information that has been input.
Thank you.
Nancy has a question. Can we retest the suggested items to see what will be the score for before we present? Yeah, well, absolutely. Remember, everybody, I'm going to hit calculate. Before you meet with the client, remember, you hit calculate, it takes a minute, and then you click OK. When you hit plan results, this is showing you what the potential is. And by the way, a lot of you have been telling me that when you go into this, you're getting a blank screen. A couple things. You may have to do one of two things, or yes, TSP is thrift savings plan. You may have to do one of two things. One, if you're in Chrome, you see these three dots up here. You click it, you come down to clear browsing data, and you click, just check the box that says cached items and clear data. Basically, you're clearing the cache, C-A-C-H-E, not the C-A-S-H. All righty? The other thing is, and this is going to sound silly, but it's what you're going to have to do. When you hit plan results, literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go into future destination. And Nancy, for you and everybody else, this is how you can pretest it. This is what it looks like. You now are able to see what it looks like before you make before you do the plan. And don't forget, everyone, when you are ready to do the presentation to the client, you click View Deck. And this is also, remember the icons up here. If you're not familiar, you don't remember the 6-step sales process, two things. Number one, you click here and it's got Eric doing a full demonstration as well as he breaks it down into the 6 steps. Or you can let me, Eric Schuyler, know. You can take his class. He does, like me, not every day, but 2-3 times a week at least, I do the training class. And I want to reiterate, you are all welcome to come, all of you. Remember the old Chicago voting, come early, vote often. Come early, come often. You can come to as many classes as you like. All righty. A lot of people do, and it's wonderful. You never know what you might pick up. But same with Eric. You can go back and take his class again as a refresher. Oops. All right, I'm going to log on. That was a mistake. I make them occasionally. My wife says I make them all the time, but I know she's got to be wrong. I'll never tell her that. Okay, here we go. So again, if you want to see the results before you present to the client, you're clicking plan results, count to 5. Then you can click future destination. All righty. And also view deck is where you do the presentation. Were there any other questions before I keep going?
Scott, I have a quick question. When we're doing
Hey,
the view deck and we're showing it to them, does that have Tom Hegna's video already built into that, or should I have that set up?
first page, here's Tom Hegna's video.
Okay.
And by the way, just so you all know, when you do a Zoom and you're going to do the video, when you hit share screen, before you choose the screen, on the, I think it's the bottom left, there's a little button. You'd think they would make it a little bigger. A little button that says share sound. Because if you don't do that, it'll be Tom like this, which is hysterical, but not exactly what you want. So you got to click share sound. And Brenda, thank you. Oh, great minds think alike, can I tell you? But it's the very first screen. Okay.
I have a question.
Please.
Where's this AI button at?
Okay. You scroll down. Remember, you start with data entry, clients' information, their assets, incomes, goals, which is spending.
Income.
No.
Spending, yes.
It's spending. Tax settings, and right over here, under future adjustments, the very button over here to the left, I made a record 105. Thank you, Nancy. Thank Jack. Jack actually let me know as well. You're all awesome. We broke the record. It's right here. You click it and go into it, and it's all right there. All right. What you all need, what you all need to do, please, is go in and play with it. Get used to it. And I want to reiterate, look, hopefully when you call, either I or Sam get back to you, call, text, or whatever. It happens occasionally. I'll be the first to admit it. I don't know if Cindy's on the call. I was supposed to take care of something yesterday, and I'm not going to make an excuse. I literally forgot. Can you imagine such a thing? But I did. I'm human. What can I tell you? It actually happens. But I'll be the first to own it and then do what I can to rectify it. But if you're having an issue, the one thing, and I know I've told all of you this, I hate when I hear, I've been working at it for 45 minutes. Don't let 45 minutes go by. After 4 or 5 minutes, reach out to Sam or myself. Let us help you, please. And also, like I said, you can come to the classes as often as you want. And something else, if you look at my calendar via my Calendly link and you're like, you're whole booked up for the day, great. Text me and say, Scott, do you have any availability tomorrow? You're all booked up on Calendly. You know what? Text me. Chances are I'll find time or make time. And many of you know I've done that before. So please, if you need help, reach out. We'll figure it out. Now, Nancy wrote something in the check box that says, please let everyone in that to do emails. The only way to reach your team, the phone is always defaulted to voicemail. Well, Nancy, it's not always, it goes to voice. Believe it or not, I do answer the phone. But I'm on a Zoom a lot helping people doing my class or doing this. I'm not going to answer the phone while I'm doing something like this. So, of course, it's going to voicemail. Leave a message, and I'll be upfront with everybody. One of the best ways, text and tell me what the issue is. Scott, I'm working on XYZ case. It's driving me to help. Please look, blah, blah, blah. Tell me what it is. Because remember, Sam and I, we can see everything. We see everything. So we can go in, take a look at it, and help you. In fact, there are several people I did that today. Yes, I'm always busy, but you're the reason I'm busy. Okay. You're the reason I want to be busy. And we're happy to help. And maybe I don't get to it. I mean, what time is it? 5:25 my time. Wow, time flies. I might not get to it right now, but I'll get to it shortly. And if there's a deadline, let me know that too. But again, it actually happened this week. Someone called me 10 of 9 in the morning. They had an appointment at 9 and needed help. Why not wait till 5 of 9? Come on, let's have a challenge. Give me a little time. But needless to say, can I clone myself? My wife says no. She doesn't want that to happen. What can I tell you? We'll work with the scientific community. Now I want to talk about something we've never talked about before. It's you might like it, you might not like it. I'm not endorsing it or not endorsing it. I'm simply discussing it because it is something that people do. And that is reverse mortgages. How could you put a reverse mortgage in here? How would that work? Let me show you. First of all, if somebody is doing reverse mortgage, I'm not talking about a line of credit. Line of credit is great, but until you access it, you don't have money. And you haven't actually done anything other than get a line of credit. Nothing wrong with that. But what you could do is simply non-qualified, when you actually get money, and let's say you get 150,000, you could make it 100% cash, 100% bond, whatever, because 1,000%, that'd be good. Yeah, Kevin, actually there is. I'll answer it in a moment. And then maybe you could come down here, non-qualified, reverse mortgage, and there it is. You could make it an FIA. Or I'm going to add insurance, and I'm going to do it from the reverse mortgage, not all at once. I guess you could do it all at once, but I'm going to do $15,000 a year premium till 2034, make it a 10 pay. Let's say it's $500,000 death benefit. IUL option A, run at 5%. Just say. My point being is that a reverse mortgage is a arrow in the quiver. That's what did I put? 11? Well, yeah, you're right. Daniel, checking my math. Thanks a lot. It's an arrow in the quiver. It is not right for everybody. We know that. But for the right person, it could be the right thing. Point being is, I want you to understand and see how you could use it in the software, both in the savings and contributions or assets section, and then how you could use it down here. For that matter, you don't have to put it in future adjustments. You could just say, they're going to have this. We're going to keep it invested in bonds as a safe investment, and just let it sit there. Okay, that's fine too. Now, somebody, Brad, I don't know, a reverse mortgage. Oh yeah, you're right. It is tax free, but if you're taking an income from it, you would show it as a non-taxable. I'm going to do that in a minute. But here, remember, I've shown the cost basis is 150, so there'd be no tax on it. All right. The only tax would be when you invest it and make a gain. That's taxable. Right. Okay. Let's say, and I think it was Rand, somebody just brought up tax-free. Remember, here, what is tax rate? There are 4 choices. This is saying this 50,000 of payroll is 100% taxable. But how do you show something? This rental income, $1,000 a month. What if this was a net number? What if they're not paying any tax on it? You simply change this to 0, and you've now made it tax-free. Okay. There was something I cannot be. Now, Monte Carlo. First of all, stocks. Stocks is based on the S&P going back to 2000. If you're looking for the average of that between then and now, It's about 7.7%, 7.87%. Bonds. Bonds uses the Morningstar Bond Fund. That goes back to 2000 as well. It's about 4.9%. And cash uses the Morningstar Cash Fund, also going back to 2000. We didn't go back farther than that. The reason being is the averages and the data points were actually higher. Now, remember how the Monte Carlo simulation works. The average is meaningless. It takes the data points, and we've got 23 years. So 23 years of the S&P to bonds of cash. So you got 69 data points, and it does the simulation. It runs 1,000 simulations, and it really runs 1,000 simulations per year. So if you got somebody 65 and you're running it till 100, that's 35 years, technically 35,000 simulations. And I want to speak on that. Sometimes people have said to me, 1,000, that's it. Ours does 5,000. That's bragging rights. We looked at doing more than 1,000, but when we did, we found it didn't do anything. It didn't move the needle. It was like a 0.001, or it was so negligible. It was like, really? So we could have easily gone to 1,500, 2,500, 5,000, but it would have only been for bragging rights. The numbers would almost be exactly the same. So we stopped at 1,000. That was reasonable, but that's what happens. Art, go ahead. All the best. Paul, it's probably important to know that most of the insurance company will not take that's true. There are some. I think Federated is one. They won't take it from that. You'd have to use it from something else. I was just doing it to make to illustrate in the software. Very true. But good point. If you say that the money is coming from reverse mortgage for life insurance, many companies won't take it. There are some out there. I think Federated Life is one of them. But at the same time, again, I was just running it to illustrate it. Any other questions, by the way, as I continue? And thank you for the questions. I hope you're getting a lot out of this. Remember, it's being recorded. I will share it with you. Is there anything somebody would like me to go through again, even if I haven't gone through it today? Crickets. All right.
Nope, nope.
Well,
Thanks for your help for sure.
All right, no worries. Don't forget, we broke out Social Security and
Yes,
pensions with
Hi,
their
how are
own.
you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Okay, well,
That's always funny when that happens.
Scott. Hey, Scott, this is Joe Bonacorsi. I have a quick question.
Go ahead, Joe. Good to see you.
You too. How do you put in monthly contributions like, to a 401k, 403b,
Not a problem. We're up here. This is a TSB.
right?
Remember, anytime there's a contribution, you hit the plus sign
Right.
next to the asset. It
Right.
brings down the second line. You choose annual or monthly. Now, this is important, Joe.
Yep.
If it's something like a pre-tax, like a 401k, blah, 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 you're
Right.
going to probably choose current income because it's probably coming out of their paycheck, therefore their income. Whereas everything else is an outside source. You put the amount that's going in and then the years. Now, in this case, they're working for 4 more years, so it'd be 2024 to 2028.
Thank you.
Now, no worries. It's a good question. Now let's take an extension of that. What if they're getting a match? Where do you put that? Because you can only put one thing here, and the match is not coming out of their income. What you would do is click Add Account. I'm just going to do 401k. I'm going to make it $1. I'm going to keep that 0. But down here, I'm going to put the amount of the match.
Okay.
All right. So that's how you would want to do it if there's a match. This way
Okay.
you're getting all the money and you're treating the numbers accurately.
Thank you.
Diane, yes, we are working on Diane's question. Any word on being able to copy a plan? Believe me, Diane, that's a big one. and there's a lot. It's very intense to do it. We are working on it. I wish I could say it's going to come by such and such time, but I don't have it. I'll honestly say it's going to come this year. I hate saying that because, um, there's a lot of year left, but it is being worked on, Diane, that I could tell you, and it's a big one. All right, by the way, I'm going to get up here and make sure I got everybody. Kevin, when I am recommending life as a way to boost it seems that it would be an expense rather than an asset as far as retirement income. Yeah, but there's an expense in obviously the premium, Kevin, but it's building. I mean, I'm presuming if you're putting it in here, you're using something permanent like an IUL or a whole life. So it's building cash value. So eventually the asset outstrips the expense, and the expense is built in because you are showing it's coming from something. It's coming from either an asset, income, or excess income. So it is coming from somewhere, which is being built in there. Jan, your name doesn't appear prepared by, it's blank. All right, Jan, get with me tomorrow on that. That should be. What was the 20-year return for cash? 20-year return for cash was 1.2%. A lot of money there, right? Okay. Don't want to miss any questions. Is there a way to indicate that their retirement date is not going to provide a 90% return? Then probably should consider working some. Nancy, when you save a case, I'm going to save it. And I'm going to hit calculate, and hopefully it'll do that. Not a problem. And hit plan results. I added something. So it's showing 79%, and then the future destination of 90%. So this is showing that it's not, if they keep going the way they're going, they are not getting a 90% plus. All righty. So this is where you would see they're not getting the quote unquote 90% plus score. Hey, Ann, how are you? Good to see you. And for adding whole life, how do you determine max amount to avoid a max? Well, that's on the illustration part, Ann. That is when you have an illustration run, you're going to tell however you're running it, the software or whoever's running it for you, to avoid a mech. So a good rule of thumb, though, is if you're doing whole life, keep the premium. If you're adding extra premium, keep it to less than 2 to 1. So if the premium's $1,000 a month, keep it to 2,000. Keep it to the extra or excess you're putting in to no more than $1,000. So hopefully you understood that. So let's say the premium is 1,000. Keep the excess to 1,000 or less, and chances are you're okay. All right. If you're not sure when you're running it, call me. Let me know. I'll help you with that. Great, good question though. Don't forget, you don't want to mech one. I had somebody run one once as a mech. They didn't realize it. And I was like, came this close. I don't see any questions. Any other questions? Does anybody have any other questions? I love the questions. They're awesome.
Hey, Scott, I have one.
Yeah, what's up, Dixon? How are you?
Good, thanks. You're doing a great job. The question is, just overall in general, all the cases you've worked on with clients, with agents, what's one or two things on the roadmap that you really has the most practical impact in the eyes of the client that helps us?
Well, for one thing, keeping it simple seems to help. But from a practical point of view, making sure the client understands goals and that it's spending and what it means, and that making sure we have accurate numbers on that, as well as using realistic. I mean, for instance, some of you might, like on the volatility buffer, I'm running a par rate of 75%. And there might be some of you that go 75% is high. And I get that. But when you're using, for instance, if you're using another product, I'm not going to say the name, that has a 130% participation rate 1 year point to point. You can't put that in. That just it's ridiculous. That's why I say you take it down and you keep it real. For instance, there's another company out there that has a par rate of 70% on an S&P. But you can bring it down. Keep it realistic is what I would always say. Keep it where you can be really confident with it. For instance, what if this were a cap rate and I kept the cap at say 10%? Would you all agree, or I can't see you all, but that 10% is a reasonable cap rate?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so let's see what it looks like at 10%. It's going to make a difference, but what's that difference? And that's the thing. You can try different things. See, I did it. I didn't count the 5, just like I said. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there it is. And guess what? Even at a cap rate of 10, it's still 99.
Scott,
So,
I wanted to say, I did a presentation last week, and it's with an engineer who's, very persnickety, and you helped me add on the goals for spending a line item for his 3-year-old granddaughter. And I wasn't sure how that would go over with him. But he actually said, "Oh, I'm glad you added that because she is becoming a line item in our monthly budget." So that was really a good idea.
now, I don't look any older than Paul Ford. I know that. But I have, and I'll get you, Harry, in a second, but I have 4 grandchildren too, and they are line items, not one line item. So believe me, I get that. Harry, Jason, yes, I am running those. Harry, what's your question?
Yeah. Do you send all this information to them, the whole package?
That's advisor to advisor. I don't want to just give you a blanket yes. A lot of advisors I know use the snipping tool and just send this. This is the money page, but that's a comfort level for you. Remember, you click Roadmap Report. This comes up and you can download it. It comes as a PDF, and you could send it all. If you have Adobe, you can open it in. Something that's coming, but it's not kind of on the radar, where you can pick and choose the reports. And Mr. Beater, you are absolutely correct. It's under promise, over deliver if you can, but just keep something in mind. Harry, somebody asked about what do you see? Keep these realistic but fair. Be fair. You can't have somebody 100% stock, but we're being conservative here. It just that's not reality, and it's not fair. It's like the left hand is up here, the right hand is down here. It's not accurate. That's not the way it would be. So you want to. I agree with under promising, but under promise fairly.
Hey,
Put it
Scott,
there. Yeah.
any thoughts on allowing us to post a personalized video? Instead of Eric's welcoming video on the landing page, allowing us to personalize video?
No, that's a good question. Never heard that before. Let me write that down for all of you. You see the book. This is my notebook on things for software. I'm going to note that, Mike, and talk to Eric about that. Advisor videos. That was good. That's very good. Okay. I also have another question here. Hold on. I want to make sure I get to it. I got that. Can you show us tax convert as we add a section for income goals? No, there's no real section for no. Income goals, there's no real section. Remember, goals is spending. So basically, if you have something you'd like to do, for instance, like I told you all, I'm a geek and a nerd. We know this already. And I love my trains. And I'm actually buying a train set from my oldest grandson. I'm so excited. I don't know who's more excited, me or him. But, you could put something in there, $5,000 a year, and not necessarily every year for trains. All righty. So there's no other section, but this is where you would put goals. Tax conversion report. I'm not sure what you mean by tax conversion reports. Hey, Matthew, are agents using the PDF to present other format? Occasionally, Matthew, but not often from what I know. Mostly it's
agents are
PSV.
just using a PDF file when they present it.
No, they use the view deck and
Okay.
do it as a presentation on their computer.
Okay. I gotcha.
Okay. Thank you. Good question. I'm not saying you can't, not at all. Some do. I'm not saying nobody does, but most use a view deck and do it that way.
Okay.
Okay. From what I know. To be fair, Matt, I don't know. Do you like Matt or Matthew? Doesn't matter.
Matt's fine. I did a presentation earlier today, and I totally missed that there was a view deck option. I just did the
Okay. All right. See, you learn something new every day. What can I tell you? All right. But Matt, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Would
You know,
you review again when we're in front of the client? Which one of where do we click to show them the presentation? And I had trouble, I couldn't get Tom Hegna's link to work when I was with the guy. I mean, I couldn't even get the hyperlink to work, let alone the sound. So I know I did it incorrectly, but it still flew. Can you review how to do how do you get it when you're with the client? Where do you click and do?
Okay, first things first, you're in the software, in the client, and you're ready to do the presentation. You click View Deck. Now, this is where you're going to share your screen. Remember, under Share Screen, there's a button that says Share Sign. And then over here, you click the link for Tom Hegna to do his thing. Okay? I don't know why it didn't work for you, Ann. That's a different IT issue. Maybe try it. I don't know what browser you were using. Maybe that was it. Maybe the internet connection wasn't good. I couldn't really speak to that. I would have to see it when it happened.
What's the sixth step? Oh, that's not to show them. That's for us to study.
Oh, I did it again.
6 steps, right?
That's the presentation, Ann. That's what you will use
up at the
to
top.
I'm sorry?
Up at the top of the screen.
Yeah, this is Eric showing you a full demonstration and then each step of when you're in front of the client. Okay, you know how to use the software. You've put a presentation together. You know how to show it to a client, but what do you say to the client? Basically, you click full demonstration under the 6-step sales process icon right here, and it's Eric doing the presentation. And basically, do exactly what he does. The question, can we show RMDs? You don't need to. The software does it automatically. The software will calculate and do RMDs automatically if there's anything pre-tax.
So that'll build it into the cash flow side.
I'm sorry?
That'll just build it into the cash flow then?
It'll build it into, yeah, because the software, let's say a client has got 5,000 coming in, but they're spending 10. So they're taking 5,000 for something. If the RMD is $1,000 a month, it's built into that and it accounts for that. So yes. Yeah. You're welcome, John. Hope everything's great.
I have a question.
Hey, Scott, I have a question.
Hey, Diane, and whoever else was there, I'll get to you.
So what I noticed, if you do the volatility buffer, that sometimes the software displays taking more than the 10% that would be allowed out of an annuity. Do you have any intention of building that into the software?
Yes, but I don't have it. I know there are things coming this year. I'm not going to pretend, oh yeah, we're working. No, it is something that we're working on, but it's not we could argue everything is important. I could make an argument, but yes, Diane, it is something that's starting to come into where we're going to work on it. I don't remember who the other person was that had a question or was starting to talk.
Yeah, I have a question.
Hi, Mark.
Yeah. Okay, the question was, if it seems we get presentation always on online only. So if I always have some problem, I want to share the clients about you know, the illustration, for example, they will say, wow, you tell me the number is pretty amazing, but I want to see what is the illustration looks like. And then I show them the illustration, but are there any way I can highlight it on the illustration and show them or something?
I'm not sure I follow you, Mark. What is it?
So
I'm not
let's
sure I
say the
follow.
annuity illustration, right? We will show them, okay, here's what's happening, 30% bonus and 8% annual rolled up, for example. So I will highlight it for them so they can see, oh, yeah, right, here we go. You see my point? So I want to
Well,
show
if
the
it's an
highlight.
annuity illustration, that's not us. That's you getting it from the insurance company that you can highlight. If you are in the software and you have something like that, you can, in assumptions, show them, I mean, here's a guaranteed income,
Yeah.
here's the return, the deferral, a roll-up rate, premium bonus, payout factor, base bonus, etc. So you can always show them you put it in there, if that's what you're saying.
Okay, but I want to show them a specific page what we refer to so they feel comfortable for
Well,
them.
okay, so if it's, hold on a second, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. Here, this, where you see FIA report, it's funny, it's called FIA report. This is the GIA. So with the
Okay.
payout. So this is where you could show them that.
So I cannot highlight it on this this page. Some certain.
No.
Huh?
No, no, you can't. We don't allow highlighting. And that could be a compliance issue for people, which is another reason why we don't do it.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine.
If Mark's sharing his screen, I mean, he's viewing his screen and he had his illustration up on, on the screen, he could, I would assume you could probably move your illustration over to your screen and share it if you wanted to do that while you're talking to a client.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sure.
But still, there's no way to highlight this,
No.
like yellow it or something like that. You could move the cursor, but you wouldn't be able to like make it yellow or anything like that.
Okay.
Peter,
okay,
no
fine.
problem. I'm glad you have a good service.
Okay.
Show how much the client loses taxes during. Okay. So if you are in, now remember, you have current destination. There are 4 reports, future destination, same 4 reports. There's a 5th one if you have a GIA. And in account summary, under tax deferred, you'll notice right here, look at the age 73. Here's the RMD that's being taken in these specific years. So we'll show that in the details. What I've heard from advisors, they don't tend to show this pay unless it's like Diane, you'll understand this. If it's an accountant or an engineer, they love seeing this page. But most people, it's like, what the heck is this? That's up to you. But this is where you would see any and all RMDs. Let me see if there's anything else here. To leave last minute items before meeting ends. Okay. What if the tax rates go up? Well, right now we can't show that. First of all, the software is using 2024 tax tables, tax brackets, standard deduction. Those inflate, have a COLA of 1.6% a year. And I don't know, KW Beater, but I'm not sure who that is, and I don't want to mispronounce your name. But we are, and I don't know if you heard at the beginning, one of the things that's high on the list, it's already being worked on, is where you will have control of the taxes and be able to show higher taxes in the future. So that is something that is coming, but is really something to do from a development and a data engineering point of view. Any other questions?
I have a quick question.
Please.
This is Joe. So
hey, Joe again.
When I view with the client when I do the client meeting. I don't have the view deck. I saw at the bottom, you were talking to somebody about, doing the, at the bottom, right there, where it says view deck. I don't have that. I can only click on the road report and show them all of that information in the PDF report. Now in that,
Okay,
I can, go ahead.
Joe, I apologize. If interrupting were either a sport or a job, I'd be a billionaire.
No, it's
So
cool.
I apologize.
No, it's cool.
But here's the thing. If you are in plan results and you're in the PDF like this, you're right, you're not going to see it. You only see view deck when you're actually got your client list. You go into, this is, all of you have this, however many cases you have, you go into that client, and then at the bottom, there's view deck. Okay, Joe?
Okay, got it. Okay. All right. So I was in the client.
You were already in the presentation.
Yes, that's why. Okay. So I had to click out of that, go back to the list, and then click that person on again.
There you
Okay.
go.
Thank you, sir.
You are more than welcome, my friend. Good stuff. And I appreciate
Can
all
I
the
ask you a
questions.
question?
I don't know, Jeff. I'm going to take a vote. Can Jeff ask a question? Okay,
Just-
fine.
Scott, does it, the lead from HubSpot go automatically into the CRM there?
No, into the CRM, yes. Into the software, no.
Okay.
Now, if those of you, I meant to say this earlier, for those of you who are taking part in our leads program, and let's say you have a concierge, all righty? The concierge does the appointment, and they will input everything from the name all the way up to and including goals. Plus, the heck was that? Plus, when you hit fact find, they will send you the fact finder as well. But thank you, Diane. I look, I don't want to be too much comedian. I like to engage. I want to keep it engaging and fun. But try not to cross a line, if you know what I mean. When you also go into fact finder here, when you bring it up, any of the questions that were answered, all of the data will be here as well. So if you have a concierge and you say, I don't have the fact finder, yes, you do. You just go into your portal, bring up the client, click fact finder. There it is. This is the most fun I get, Parker, so I'm pretty boring. This and trains. Can you imagine me at parties talking about this and Social Security? Oh my God. Any other questions? Hopefully that helped.
Okay, as far as concerned TSP, I was told that the TSP cannot be moved out from TSP if they are younger than 59 and a half years old. Is it true? Or
that's correct.
So they
and
have
generally, well, first of all, it's not just TSPs. It depends on the plan. Some 401ks, you can do an in-service distribution, and depending on what you're doing it for, you can use it. There are rules that for certain things, you can take money. But generally, you really can't and don't want to touch it before 59 and a half. For TSPs, I remember the rules. Maybe there's somebody on here. There's several people I know that specialize in TSPs. You can't touch it till you separate from the government. Okay, you can't move it.
You can take a one-time partial withdrawal, Scott, from the TSP, but it's one time only.
Okay. All right, there you go.
That they updated that. You can even do more than one, but 59 and a half or separated from service.
There you go. All righty. And a lot of 401ks, 403bs are like that. It depends on the plan and the plan document. Some of them allow in service where you can actually, you don't take the money, but you could actually hire an advisor who can manage it for you.
Okay.
Scott, I typically will tell most of the advisors I work with, there's 3 qualifying events: 59.5, separation of service, or the termination of the plan. One of those 3 things generally will allow, but at 59.5, and 99.9% of all 401ks is the rule.
Nick, if you're referring to the rule of 55, where you can take it at 55, but there have to be specific reasons, like for instance, a medical reason. You know, if you have, God forbid, something that is, and I hope no one has it in their family or whatever, life-threatening. But I believe that does, but it's for very specific and narrow reasons. And it's the same for all plans, by the way, not just theirs. Everyone, I enjoyed this a lot. I also, correct, you know, and I have to be separated. Very good. Thank you, Jason. I hope you not, look, I want you to enjoy it, but I also want to make sure you get something out of it, a lot out of it. And I want you all to be using the software and loving it as much as I am. One thing I love about this software is it helps you tee up sales, and it does it without you trying to sell. You know, we tried to make it simple, elegant. You know, you want the blue pile or the white pile. It's that simple. But anyway, remember, I'm here for, does everybody have my phone number? You know what? It's in the, what am I doing? I'm going to everyone in the meeting, I'm going to put it in there in the chat box. In case you don't, that's my phone number. Okay. Keep the chat box up. That's my cell number. You're a very special group. Not everybody gets my cell. And last, but not least,
I lost
that's
it.
my, it's in the chat box. Bring up the chat box.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Thank you, James. I appreciate that. Excellent. And I really do. I'm glad. That's what I want. But that's how you get a hold of me. Now, like I said, if I'm on with somebody, come on, I'm going to give them my attention. But when I'm not, you know, there'll be times I'm on a Zoom in which it's for other business, whatever it might be. You'll get a text from me saying, on Zoom, what's up? Tell me what's going on, so when I'm done, I can fix it or deal with it or whatever. You know, if you just say, I need to talk to you, great, I'll get to you as soon as I can. But if you're like, look at so-and-so case, I can't get it to work and I don't know why. Are previous recordings of this available? Yes, there are. I share them with you. I'll tell you what, I'll send a couple and I'll share them to you. Okay. Remind me of that if you don't see them. You'll get this one for sure. But if you don't see it, let me know. All right, everyone. I'm going to stop sharing. Basically, that's my stories. I'm sticking to it. I really appreciate everybody coming. I hope you got a lot out of it. It's nice to see you all, whether you had your camera on or not. Thank you. Seriously, thank you for being part of IFW. We love it. You have no idea how appreciative we are of having you with us.